Hello friends, Namaskar, this is Sanjay. The CTET December 2021 examination was held in an online mode from the 16th of December of 2021 till the 21st of January of 2022. So there are 23 different versions of paper 1 from the December 2021 examination. In this video, we will solve the 30 questions from the paper that was held on the 3rd of January of 2022. Because we will be solving 30 questions per subject from all the 23 papers, in total, we will be solving 690 questions per subject in this series. And all these videos are available both in English and Hindi versions on our channel. So let's get started. The table shows the marks obtained of 3 students before and after studying mathematics in a group, which is the approximate average marks obtained by all the 3 students together in each type of study. So this question is just asking us to calculate average for this group and this group of marks. Now, if you look at the answer options, there are no repetitions. All the 4 options have different values. Therefore, we just have to calculate for one set and we should be able to identify the correct answer. So if we look at this, then we'll get 3, 1, 14 and 21. So now to get the average, we have to divide this 213 by 3. So 3 7s are 21 and 3 1s are 3. So 71 is the average of the marks of studying in a group. Therefore, when we look at the answer choices, the last one has 71. Therefore, this has to be the correct answer. If you calculate the average for this set, you will find it to be 61.33. But you don't have to do that. You can save time by just calculating one set and you will arrive at the correct answer. Because there are no repetitions, then there is no chance of any confusion. Which of these following groups of letters have both horizontal and vertical lines of symmetry? Which means that which of these letters, when we cut them horizontally or vertically, we will get 2 equal pieces which are mirror images of each other, which are equal but opposite. So if you look at all the options, then XHO is the best answer here, because if you cut X vertically or horizontally, you will get 2 equal pieces which are mirror images. Similarly, if you cut H horizontally or vertically, you will get 2 equal but opposite, that is mirror images. And similarly, when you cut O horizontally or vertically, you will get 2 equal and opposite, that is mirror images of each other. Therefore, XHO is the best answer here. Rakesh says that the radius is double of the diameter and Sania says that it is half of the diameter. Which of the following is the correct option? So in a circle, if this is the center point, then this entire line is the diameter and half of it is the radius. Therefore, radius is half of the diameter. So Sania is correct and Rakesh is wrong, because Sania says that the radius is half of the diameter, which is the correct statement. So option 2 is the correct answer. Areeba finds angles in various English letters and numerical digits. In which of the following groups will she find only right angles? So right angles are 90-degree angles. So this question looks a little tricky, but we can follow an elimination strategy to answer this question easily. Now, in the last option, there is M. Now, irrespective of how you write M, right, you will see that there are angles which are less than 90 degrees. So because there is M in this option, we can eliminate this. And in the first one, there is K. So even when you write K, there will be angles which are less than 90 degrees. Therefore, we can eliminate that, because even when you write 7, you normally do not write 7 vertically. You will write it like this. So which means that even 7 has an angle which is less than 90 degrees. Therefore, option 1 can be eliminated. Here, X can be written with right angles like this. But when you write 4 and N, here, when you write N, you will have angles which are less than 90 degrees. Therefore, option 2 also can be eliminated. That leaves us with only one option, which is option 3. Now, when you write H, 5 and E like this, you'll see that you have only right angles, right? Therefore, option 3 is the best answer among the 4 options. The factors of any number are what of the number? Now, let us take 10 as an example. What are the factors of 10? The factors of 10 are all those numbers using which we can divide 10. So we can divide 10 with 10 because 10 ones are. We can divide it with 5, 5 twos are. We can divide it with 2 because 2 5s are, and we can divide it with 1, so 1 10s are. Therefore, the factors of 10 are 10, 5, 2 and 1. Now, if you look at the relationship between the number and its factors, we see that there is one factor which is equal to the number and all the other factors are less than 10. Therefore, the factors of a number are equal to or less than the original number. Therefore, option 1 is correct. Venu found his birth certificate while cleaning the home on 25th of September of 2021. He noted that his date of birth in the certificate was written as 5th of December of 1995. What was Venu's approximate age when he found the certificate? Now, the mistake that some of the students do here is they go into a detailed calculation in problems like this. But if you look at the answer choices, there is no day calculation, which means that we don't have to go into calculating the number of days, right? We just have to do it roughly, and we have to find the approximate age in terms of the number of months, which is the lowest option among the answers. Now, if he was born on 5th of December 1995 and he was cleaning the room or cleaning the house on 25th of September, we just have to calculate what was his age as on 25th of September. So 5th of December of 1995. Let's calculate till the nearest December that he has already completed, because 2021 December has not yet arrived. So we can do it up to the 5th of December of 2020. That is the previous year. So here it will be 25 years. Now, if you look at the answer choices, option 2 and option 3 have 25 years in it. So we can eliminate option 1 and option 4. And if you look at from December of 2020 till September of 2021, it will be January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August and September, which is 9 months. And if you look at the second part of the options, the option 2 has 9 months in it. Therefore, option 2 has to be the correct answer, because we clearly see that it cannot be 3 months. Therefore, option 3 can be eliminated and only option 2 is the correct answer here. The height of 5 persons is given below. What is the sum of the height in meters? It's a very simple question. We have to just add these different heights that are given in centimeters and convert it into meters. So if we add all these different heights that are given in centimeters, we will get 801. Since 1 meter is 100 centimeters, so 801 is nothing but 8 meters and 1 centimeter. Therefore, option 2 is the correct answer. 1729 is called the Ramanujan number because this is the smallest number expressible as the sum of two cubes in two different ways. Which of the following pairs of numbers will give you cubes of these numbers? Now this question is based on the class 8 mathematics chapter called cubes and cube roots. And in that chapter there is a discussion about this Ramanujan number. So now Ramanujan number can be expressed using these numbers or the cubes of these numbers. For example, 1 into 1 into 1 is 1 and 12 into 12 into 12 is 1728. So if we add these two together, we'll get 1729. Similarly, if we do 10 into 10 into 10, we get 1000 and 9 into 9 into 9 is 729. So we'll get 1729. Therefore, the correct answer is option 2. Three friends start receiving messages on their mobile phones at an interval of 20 minutes, 30 minutes and 45 minutes respectively. They start receiving messages together at a particular time. After how much time will they receive messages again on their mobile phones altogether? So there are two ways of doing this. One is using a time scale. So to visualize this problem at the same time, right? A, B and C, all the three started receiving messages. After that, A has been getting messages once every 20 minutes and B has been getting messages once every 30 minutes. So B gets after 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. And C is getting messages once every 45 minutes. So 45 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes, and 45 minutes. So we have to see at what time will all the three A, B, C again coincide like they did at the beginning of this series. Now, if you look at the first hour, only A and B got Then somewhere at around 1.5 hour, B and C got. At the second hour, A and B got. Whereas at the third hour, A, B and C, all the three got messages together. Therefore, the correct answer is 3 hours. So option 4 is correct. The other way of doing this is through calculation. That is, if you look at 20, 30 and 45, you just have to take the LCM of these three numbers and you will again arrive at 3 hours. So say 20 and 30 and 45. Now 5 4s are 20, 5 6 are 30, 5 9s are 45. So 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6, 9. Then 2 1s are 2, 3, 9. So 3 1 1 and 3. So we have to multiply 5 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 1 into 1 into 3. So if we do this, we will get 180. So 180 divided by 60, because we have to convert it into hours. So 180 divided by 60 is nothing but 3 hours. So we come to the same answer, that is option 4. Among the following fractions, the largest and the smallest fractions respectively are what? There are three ways of solving this problem. The first and the longest method is to convert all of these fractions into equivalent fractions. When we take the LCM of all the denominators, we will get 420. And then we will have to convert all of these fractions into the same scale, and then we will be able to compare this. Or the other and the shorter method is to convert these fractions into decimal points, and we'll see that 3 by 4 will become 0.75, 1 by 2 will become 0.50, 2 by 3 will become 0.66, 4 by 5 will be 0.80. So we can convert these fractions into decimal points and do the comparison more easily. Or we can also use a commonsensical approach. Now, if you look at all the fractions, right, none of the fractions are smaller than 1 by 2, because in 1 by 2, 1 is exactly half of 2, whereas in all the other fractions, 3 is more than 2, which is half of 4, 6 is more than 3.5, which is half of 7, 2 is more than 1.5, which is half of 3. So if you look at all the fractions, all the numerators are more than half of the denominator, whereas only in 1 by 2, the numerator is exactly half of the denominator. So which means that the third option, that is 1 by 2, third fraction, is the smallest fraction. Now if you just look at all the answer choices, we are looking at the smallest fraction. The smallest fraction is 1 by 2, and none of the other options have 1 by 2 here. Therefore option 1 or answer 1 has to be the correct answer. So that way you can either use the longer method, that is the equivalent fraction method, or we can use the decimal point conversion method, or we can just roughly look at all the fractions and see which one of them is the smallest. And if we identify the smallest and see that none of the other options have the smallest one mentioned here, we know that option 1 has to be the correct answer, even without having to calculate the largest fraction. Observe the pattern and write the numbers at the blank. Now there is no pattern to be observed here. It's a simple addition question. We know that from 1 to 9, the sum is 25. So which means that we just have to add the remaining numbers to 25 and we'll get the answer. So if it is 25 plus 11 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17, then 2 and we get 81. So 81 is the correct answer here. The prices of various stationery items are given below, and there is also a list of things that Harpreet has bought. So we have to calculate the total amount to be paid. So this is a simple multiplication and addition problem. So Harpreet buys 1 packet of pencil, so into 1, and 2 packets of pen into 2, and 3 erasers into 3, and 1 sharpener, that is into 1, and 2 packets of pastels, that is into 2, and 1 ruler into 1. So if you multiply all of these and just do the addition, you'll get the answer, that is 218. What will be the remainder when 10011 is divided by 101? So this is a simple division problem. Just write down 10011 and divide it by 101. So 9s are, you'll get 909. So here you'll get 921. So 9s are 909. So it will be 12. So the remainder is 12. So the answer is option 3. Select the least number, which is a perfect square and divisible by each of the numbers 16, 20 and 24. So we have to see which of these numbers are perfect squares and which of these numbers is divisible by 16, 20 and also 24. So even a rough observation of these numbers shows that all of them are perfect squares, because 1600 is nothing but 40 into 40 and 3600 is 60 into 60 and 6400 is 80 into 80 and 14400 is nothing but 120 into 120. So all of these numbers are perfect squares. So we just have to identify which of these numbers is divisible by 16, 20 and 24. For that, we need to take the LCM of these three numbers, and whichever of these options is divisible by the LCM of these three numbers will be the answer. So let's take the LCM of 16 and 20 and 24. So 2 8s are 16, 10s are 12s are 2 4s are 8, 5s are 6 are 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are. Therefore, the LCM of these numbers will be 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 5 into 3. So the LCM here will be 240. So now we have to see which of these numbers is divisible by 240. And since we have to select the least number, let us start with the smallest number first. So 1600 divided by 240. So we'll see 8 3s are 24 and 2s are 16, 0. So if we divide 20 by 3, we'll get some decimal point. Therefore, this cannot be the correct answer. Let's try 3600, which is the next smallest number. So 3600 divided by 240. So 0, 0 and 12 2s are 24, 12 3s are 36, 0, 2 1s are 215. So if we divide 3600 by 240, we get 15. Therefore, there are no decimal points, no fractions. Therefore, 3600 is divisible by 16, 20 and 24. Therefore, this has to be the correct answer. You can try dividing the other two numbers as well, but you will get some decimals or you will get some fractions. However, 3600, since we have already identified the least number, which is a perfect square and divisible by 16, 20 and 24. So we can stop and select option 2 as the correct answer. The product of the place value of the two 6s in this number is what? So the first 6 is in the thousands place, so 6000, and the second 6 is in the tens place, so 60. So that will be 36 followed by 1 2 3 4 zeros, 1 2 3 and 4 zeros. So the answer here is option 3. A mathematics teacher posed the following question in her class. Take 4 digits 7, 8, 4, 6. Make the smallest and the largest 4-digit number such that no digit is repeated in them. So she is giving the students some activity using these 4 numbers. After various responses of the students, she asked the students, think about the arrangement of the digits in both the numbers that you have formed. Can you say how the largest and smallest number is formed, and write down your procedure, right? And which of the following statements is most appropriate in the above context? So we have to identify what could be the reason behind the teacher asking the students to write down the procedure with which they arrived at the largest and the smallest number. Now, the first option says the teacher is saving her time by assessing the students by asking the students to assess their answers themselves. Now, the teacher has not told the students whether they are correct or wrong. She has just received the responses from the students and she's asked them to look at the numbers again and write down the procedure with which they arrived at the number. She is not telling them whether they have done it correctly or they are wrong, right? So there is no assessment involved here. And the teacher is keeping the students engaged to maintain discipline in the class. No, the teacher here is trying to teach mathematics. She is not just trying to keep the students engaged, right? So this cannot be an answer at all. Next, the teacher wants to understand the students' thinking process involved in the answers given by them. This is the correct and the best answer here, because by asking them to write down the procedure with which they arrived at the largest or the smallest number, she is trying to understand what is the student's thinking process? How did they arrive at this largest and the smallest number? Therefore, this is the best answer. And the last one says the teacher is confusing the students who have given the correct answer. No, the teacher is not trying to confuse anybody here. She is not even told whether they are correct or wrong, or what is the procedure that she should be using. She's just asked them to complete this exercise and write down how they have done it. Therefore, the last one also can be eliminated. Therefore, option 3 is the best and the correct answer here. Which of the following is not used for formative assessment? That is, which of these options is not a formative assessment method? Now, what is a formative assessment? A formative assessment can be used anytime during the year because it is part of the teaching learning process itself. The objective of a formative assessment can be to understand what the students are actually learning so that the teacher can modify or change the teaching learning process if required. And the students will also get to learn through the assessments itself. Therefore, formative assessment can be conducted many times during the year. And the feedback from the formative assessment helps the teacher in revising the teaching and learning process and modifying it wherever required. Whereas summative assessments are summary or summarizing the learning that has happened over a period of time, like half-yearly exams or term end or annual exams. These are summative assessments because you are summarizing what the students have already learned. So you cannot go back and change the teaching learning process at this point. Therefore, term end examination is not used in formative assessment. Whereas student portfolio, anecdotal records, field trips, these can be conducted any time during the year and many times during the year, and they can be used for formative assessments. A mathematics teacher posed the following word problem to his student. One copy of a newspaper has 12 pages. Every day 10,500 copies are printed. How many total pages are printed every day? A student responded that the answer would be between 1,25,000 to 1,30,000. Now if you do this calculation, 12 into 10,500, you will get 1,26,000. So the student is fairly accurate in his estimation. Which of the following statements is correct in the above context? The teacher should discourage the student from giving inaccurate answers. Now this is incorrect because many a times in our daily life we use approximations and estimations, because if we don't require an exact answer, we can do a rough calculation and use an estimate, and with that we can fulfill a lot of purposes. Therefore, teacher should not discourage students from giving inaccurate answers, because here the student has taken the initiative to approximate the answer quite fast and given an approximate answer. So the student should not be discouraged. And estimation is used in daily life mathematics, hence the teacher should appreciate the student's estimation of the answer to near accuracy. This is the correct answer because, as I mentioned, estimation is used very frequently in our day-to-day life. Therefore, the teacher should appreciate the student's estimation and encourage the students to do further calculation and arrive at the correct number. But the approximate number is also accurate. Therefore, option 2 is correct. Next, the teacher should ignore the response and focus on teaching the algorithm of multiplication. No, because as I mentioned, estimation and the process of estimation is also very, very important. Therefore, the teacher should encourage the students to do the estimation, because that will also help in arriving at the correct answer and validating the correct answer. Because if the student knows that the answer is between 125 to 130, then when the student does the calculation, then he or she will know whether the answer is correct or not. Therefore, estimation is very important and the teacher should not ignore. So option 3 is incorrect. Mathematics require exact answers, so estimation has no relevance. No, estimation is also a part of mathematics. Therefore, the last statement is incorrect. Therefore, option 2 is the correct answer. According to the National Curriculum Framework, that is the NCF 2005, which of the following represents a vision of classroom environment for doing mathematics? So we have been given 4 statements here, and since all the answer options have 2 statements, we have to identify which 2 of these 4 statements are correct as per what is mentioned in the NCF 2005. So broadly, what does this National Curriculum Framework say? It emphasizes on a progressive classroom. It emphasizes on group learning or learning through social interaction. And it also emphasizes on the active participation by all students. Now, if we look at the 4 given statements, students copy the solution to the questions from the blackboard. Now, if students are just copying the questions from the blackboard, then this cannot be a progressive classroom. Therefore, this can be eliminated. If this is eliminated, any option which contains D will also be wrong. Therefore, the last option can be eliminated and the second option can be eliminated because both of them have D in it. Next, teacher reflecting on the process of learning and seeing mistakes as opportunities for learning. This is correct because the teacher is actively participating in the teaching learning process and she's looking at the mistakes that are being committed by the students, and the mistakes are also opportunities for learning. Therefore, C is correct. Now, if you look at the answer choices, only one option, that is option 3, has C in it. Therefore, C has to be the correct answer. It also has A, so let's read statement A and C if that is also correct. Statement A says, students working in groups and looking for different strategies to solve problems while making connections with real life situations. This is correct because group learning or learning through social interaction is specifically mentioned in the NCF, and connecting what is being taught in the classroom with the real life situations, that is contextual learning, is also emphasized in the National Curriculum Framework. Therefore, A is also correct. Since A and C both are correct, option 3 is the correct answer. Let's also look at the remaining option, that is option 2. Students solving textbook exercises based on example solved by teacher. Now this is more of rote memorization rather than a progressive classroom. Therefore, B is incorrect. Therefore, 3 is the best answer. A primary school mathematics teacher wants her students to appreciate the use of data handling in daily life for organizing, representing, and interpreting information. Which of the following would help the teacher to achieve the learning outcome? So, if you are talking about teaching about data handling to primary school children, the best way of doing this is to give them as many real life examples as possible as to how there is data, and the data is actually organized or represented in a specific way so that you can use it as useful information. That is, you are converting the data into information. Now, the best way of doing this is giving as many real life examples as possible. So when you look at all the 4 statements, the first one says discussing solved examples. Now, solved examples are good, but these are not real life examples. These are just something given in the textbook. So let us not use this. Next, using railway timetable, surveys published in newspapers. So these are real life examples, right? Therefore, statement 2 or option 2 seems to be the best option. Let us also look at the other 2 statements. Explaining various ways of data representation. This is good and this has to be done, but this can be done. That is the formal ways of data representation. You can teach about that only when students understand what is this data representation all about. So first you have to give them real life examples. Only then you can teach them theory. Therefore, this cannot be the best answer. The last one, teaching them various formal ways of representing the data. This again is very similar to statement 3 because even here we are talking about formal ways of representing data. So primary school children, we have to first give them real life examples, and when they understand what is this organizing and representing data all about and what is this data, what is information, only then you can teach them formal ways of representing data. Therefore, this also is not the best answer. So among the given answers, statement 2 is the best answer. Which of the following strategies is most appropriate to introduce the concept of fraction in primary classes? Now you are talking about fractions and you are teaching fractions to primary class children. So you have to use some very basic examples, some hands-on examples, some active learning process to teach them about fractions. If you are going to write the fraction in the form of p by q where q is not equal to 0, then this is very complicated. They wouldn't even understand what you're trying to teach them. So this is completely incorrect. Next, writing an example of fraction and then marking a point on the number line. This is probably a slightly better way, but then if they don't understand what is a fraction, by writing an example of a fraction and writing a number line, they might not be able to understand what you're trying to teach them because we are talking about primary class children here. Therefore, this also is incorrect. Using paper folding activities with symmetrical cutouts of circles and rectangular strips to represent fractions. This is correct because at this age, at a primary class level, if you use active learning, you use physical or concrete objects to teach them about fractions, such as you use paper strips and you cut those paper strips into different pieces and you teach them what are these fractions all about. Then they'll be able to understand it. Therefore, this is the best option. The last one, give 2 examples of a fraction and ask the students to write 10 similar examples. Now, if they don't understand what a fraction is all about, if you write some fractions, give them some example, how do you know they have understood the concept of fractions? Therefore, this is also not an ideal way of teaching fractions to primary class or primary class children. Therefore, statement 3 is the correct answer. Mathematics has its own language of words and symbols, which is far removed from everyday speech of the students. Which of the following is the most appropriate in the context of the given statement? Now, in mathematics, we use symbols like plus, minus, divide, percentage. And we also use words associated with these mathematical operations. And these might not be words that at least young children use in their daily lives. So mathematics has its own language and these are far removed from the everyday speech. That is, children generally don't use such mathematical words in their regular speech. So which of these options is correct in this context? Now, when you are trying to teach mathematics to primary school children, the best way to teach them is to contextualize the mathematics problems. That is, if you are talking about addition, you have to teach them what is addition in the real world, how is it used in the day-to-day life. And they should not think about mathematics and these mathematical processes like addition, subtraction, division, or calculating a percentage as some theory that is to be used only in the classroom. They should be able to connect it with their life experiences, with their day-to-day experiences. How is addition used in daily life? How is division used in daily life? How is percentage used for calculating interest on savings account? So that way, teacher should contextualize, and the mathematics should not just be theory. It should be part of the student's life experiences. Therefore, this is the best option. If you look at the other statements, the first statement talks about memorization. NCF and NEP both are sternly against memorization of anything. And teachers should only focus on solving word problems. This is also incorrect because word problems and regular problems both should be addressed in the classroom. Therefore, this is incorrect. And the last one, teachers should display the chart of important mathematical symbols and formulas in the classroom. By displaying a chart, how do you make sure that the students have actually understood anything? And if your objective is that students will memorize this chart, then again you're talking about rote memorization. Therefore, this is incorrect. Therefore, only option 2 is the best option among the given statements. A class 5 student is able to classify two-dimensional shapes into categories based on their properties. According to Van Heel's theory of geometrical development, she is at what level of geometrical reasoning? Now, if you look at Van Heel's theory and the levels that he talks about, in level 1, that is the visual level, the student should be able to describe and classify shapes on the basis of their appearance. And in level 2, that is the analysis level, the student should be able to describe or classify shapes on the basis of their properties. So here we are being told that this student is able to classify shapes on the basis of their properties. Therefore, the student is at level 2, which is analysis. Therefore, option 1 is the correct answer. A primary class mathematics teacher poses the following word problems to his students. Samina goes to bed 10 minutes to 9. Kirti goes to bed 20 minutes later than Samina. What time does Kirti go to bed? One of the students gave 20 as the answer. He explains that it says Kirti goes to bed 20 minutes later, so the answer must be 20. According to Newman, the answer given by the student is an example of which of the following? Is it a comprehension error? Is it a reading error? Is it a process skill error? Or is it just a careless error? Now, according to Newman, when it comes to word problems, the solution comes in 5 distinct steps. First, children should be able to read the problem. Second, they should be able to comprehend or understand what the problem is stating and what is being asked. Then they should be able to transform this word problem into a mathematical problem. And then they should be able to do the mathematical steps that are required to come to the answer. And then they should be able to represent or encode the answer in a proper way. Therefore, if we look at what is wrong with this student, is he able to read? Yes, he is able to read the question, so reading is not an issue. But Here he is not able to understand what the question is asking or what the question is saying. Therefore, it is a comprehension error, right? Because he has not gotten to the stage of transforming this word problem into a mathematical formula or solving that formula. He is still at the stage where he is not able to understand what the problem is saying. So it is a comprehension error. So option 1 is the correct answer. The NCF, or the National Curriculum Framework, emphasizes that school mathematics must be activity oriented. That is, it should not just be theoretical, it should be practical or contextual, and there should be some activity based learning that happens. This is because of which of the following? So now if you read through this, it helps students develop skills to earn a livelihood. Now NCF says that we are not trying to teach job skills to children. We are trying to teach them the basic concepts of mathematics so that they can understand what mathematics is all about and how it is used in our day-to-day life. We are not trying to teach them job skills. So to earn a livelihood, this statement is completely incorrect. If A is incorrect, it means that options 2 and option 4 can be eliminated because both of them have A in it. And it motivates students to solve meaningful problems in mathematics. This is correct because if they are able to understand the practical aspect of the theory that they are learning in the classroom, then it is more meaningful and they are able to solve meaningful problems. Therefore, B is a correct statement. If B is correct, we have only two options left, 1 and 3. Since B is correct, statement option 1 has to be the correct answer. Now let us also look at C and see if this is correct. C says it provides concrete experiences to understand abstract concepts in mathematics. This is absolutely correct. If you are teaching about percentages in the classroom, then you teach them how percentages work in real life, right? How interest is calculated by banks, how you get interest on fixed deposits, or how you pay interest on loans. So this abstract concept of percentage can be converted into a concrete real life example. Therefore, C is also correct. Therefore, B and C both are correct. So option 1 is the correct answer. Now D is incorrect. Why? Because it says it provides recreation time to the students. Now you are not teaching them mathematics for time pass. It's not for recreation. Therefore, this is incorrect. Which of the following tool or tools of assessment is or are appropriate for students facing mathematics anxiety? Now, in some of our other videos, we have discussed what are norm-referenced assessments, what are summative assessments, and what are formative assessments. You know that summative assessments are like the mid-year exams or the annual exams. If a student is facing mathematics anxiety, right, then the worst thing that you can do is make the student sit in a summative assessment or make the student sit in an exam, right? So summative assessments are not ideal in a situation where the students are facing mathematics anxiety. Therefore, if C is not appropriate, then if we look at all the options, whichever has C in it will also be incorrect. So we can eliminate option 1, option 3 and option 4 because all of them have C in it, which leaves us with one option, that is B and D. B says cooperative learning projects. So children can learn a lot by cooperating with other students. And this is also a tension-free way of learning because they are not just listening to the teacher giving a lecture. They are interacting with other students and learning through these social interactions. Therefore, B is a good way of assessing them as well. That is through cooperative learning projects. And D says formative assessment. Formative assessments are intended to help the students learn, that is form their knowledge, and also for the teacher to understand what are the gaps in the teaching and learning process and how it needs to be changed so that the students can learn better. Therefore, D is also ideal for assessing students if they have mathematics anxiety. Therefore, B and D is the correct answer. In a mathematics classroom, a student counts on his fingers to solve problems in addition in the following ways. When 3 plus 9 is given, he is counting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And when 9 plus 3 is given, he is counting 10, 11 and 12, which means that he is counting the second number in the addition on his fingers so that he can come to the total, which is 12. Which of the following statements is most appropriate regarding the above process used by the student? Now, if you look at these two problems, what is happening here is this is an example of commutative law. That is, A plus B is equal to B plus A. Here 3 plus 9 is equal to 9 plus 3. But when you give 3 plus 9, the student is counting in a long method, right? He's counting from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he's using a longer method. But if it is given as 9 plus 3, then he's using a much shorter and a much simpler method. So what the student is not able to understand is that even if the problem is given in as 3 plus 9, he can just write it as 9 plus 3 and do the problem or solve the problem in a simpler way, which means that he is not able to understand the commutative property. Therefore, if you look at the answer choices, the second says that the student is unable to use the commutative law of addition in solving problems on addition. Therefore, this is the correct answer. Now, should this process be ignored? No, because this is also a way of solving problems, so it should not be ignored. Right? And the student should be discouraged to count on fingers. No, even adults find it very convenient to count on their fingers on many occasions, so it should not be discouraged. And it is an appropriate algorithm to solve questions based on addition. No, this is not appropriate, because if the student is doing it in a complicated way, then the teacher should teach him the more easier or the more simpler way of doing it. Therefore, this is not appropriate. Therefore, the last statement is also incorrect. Therefore, only option 2, that is, the student is unable to use the commutative law, is the correct answer here. Which one of the following is not a problem solving strategy in mathematics? Now, there are several problem solving strategies such as guess and check or trial and error, where you make a guesstimate and check if you have arrived at the correct answer. Or you can represent the problem as a table, chart, or a picture or a diagram. Or you can work it backwards, that is, you have the answer and you work backwards from there and figure out how you arrive at the answer. So there are several strategies that you can use to solve problems. So among the given options, if you look at it, solving backwards is a strategy, graphical representation is a strategy, trial and error is also a strategy, but rote memorization, that is, memorizing something without actually understanding it, is definitely not a problem solving strategy. Therefore, the answer here is option 3. A mathematics teacher posed the following question to his student. Write a pair of integers whose sum gives negative integers. Now, what are integers? Integers are numbers without a decimal point and without a fraction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these are integers. They are positive integers. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, all these are also integers, but they are negative integers. So if you ask a student, write a pair of integers whose sum gives negative integers, then there can be any number of pair of integers whose sum will give negative integers. For example, minus 3 and plus 1 will give minus 2, which is a negative integer. Minus 3, and if you add minus 3 to it, you'll get minus 6, which is a negative integer. 2, and if you add minus 3 to it, you'll get minus 1. So this is also a negative integer. So you can write any number of integers, which means that this question can have any number of answers. If a question has more than one correct answer, then that is an open-ended question. Therefore, this is an example of an open-ended question. Read the following statement. In mathematics, from concrete objects, we abstract a set of natural numbers. In this set, we include 0 and get a set of whole numbers. We include negative numbers to this set to get a set of integers. To integers, we add positive and negative fractions to get a set of rational numbers. The above statements reflect which of the following? Now, if you look at what has been described in this statement or paragraph, if there are some concrete objects, like there are 3 flowers, so these 3 flowers can be represented using natural numbers. And if there are no objects, then that is essentially 0. So 0 and natural numbers together make up whole numbers, and whole numbers and negative integers together make up integers, and integers and fractions together make up rational numbers. Rational numbers and irrational numbers together make up real numbers. So this is not a linear arrangement of concepts. This is the hierarchical nature of mathematics, because this is a hierarchy. This is not the concrete nature of concepts in mathematics, and this is not where we are moving from abstract to concrete. On the other hand, we are moving from concrete objects towards abstract concepts. Therefore, hierarchical nature of mathematics is what is being described in this sentence or paragraph. And with that, we'll come to the end of this video. If you have any questions or if you have any feedback, please put them in the comment section below. And the rest, you know what to do. I will see you again soon in the next part of this video series, where we will solve 30 more questions from another previous question paper. Till then, take care, stay safe.